So I'm just going to give you an insight into what we do every day, really, in backing up photographs and videos. Obviously we spend a lot of time capturing them, so the last thing we want to do is lose them. And the key thing is, although they're on the various SD cards, what I want to do is to take a copy of them and back them up onto a hard drive. I tend not to bring my MacBook away with me because that means I don't have to edit on the move, and also it's just less of something else that might get stolen and that. So backing it up onto an SD drive is a bit more is easier to do, and I found a way of doing it by copying from my iPhone that will connect to the SD drive on the files and backing it off that way. So it's a bit flaky, and it's taken me a long time just to get to know its quirks, but I did the whole New Zealand trip and now the whole of the European trip, and I sort of mastered as to how it works and that, and its any little peculiarities it might have. One of the key things I have is when I'm backing it up is that there's a lightning connector that goes into the phone, and from that you connect to your SD drive, so that will go into the SD drive. And then the key thing is that it needs an extra power source to power the iPhone, but also power the disk drive, because the power from the iPhone isn't high enough to obviously power the disk drive, so it needs a source. I'm just using a backup power pack to provide that power source. It could be off the van itself, it could be maybe a mobile battery device that I use. So that's the last thing I do. The first thing I do first of all is to take each SD card and back it up onto the files onto the phone. So the first thing to do is using just an SD card adapter with a lightning cable. It goes into the phone, and then basically let's take as an example, I'll take the footage out of my Canon SD. I still store the SD cards, and I keep the SD cards as a second backup, so I have two backups. I have the hard drive and then I've got the SD card, but obviously sometimes SD cards can get corrupt. It just gives me a security, I've got a second card. So all I'm now doing is I'm going to back that off onto the phone first of all, stage one. Stage two is to then copy it onto the hard drive. So first of all I get all the files onto the phone itself. Today is day 33, so I'll create a new folder for that. Day 33, we'll call that Omaha, and then in there I'll create various folders in there. So I'll take all my footage off my iPhone, and these will all be in separate folders and that. Then I create a folder called Canon, and then a folder called Drone, then a folder called GoPro, and then a folder called Jane iPhone, because obviously I copy all Jane's stuff as well. Okay, so I end up with a folder called Omaha in this case, and I got 5 folders for the various devices I'm using to record pictures on. And then basically I'm going to copy from that SD card. So again, sorry, I've deselected, so I'm going to just select all the pictures, and then I copy them to files, to Omaha. In this particular case it's off the Canon, copy. And that can take, depending on the quality of the footage, to the drone and the GoPro, maybe a bit slower than rather than the Canon, etc. It all depends down to the footage. So I do that for each device now. So having got all the videos and pictures into separate folders now, I can just copy the folders one at a time onto the hard drive. So I'll connect this special adapter that's got a USB but also a power cable and that's critical because there's not enough power on the iPhone to power the hard drive, so it's important that that is plugged into a power bank or something, as I said before. And then all you do then at that point is to select the folders one at a time and copy them to the external drive. So in this particular case, so that drive's just spinning up, and this is where there's a bit of sometimes it's a bit, I won't say flaky, but it will actually sometimes go wrong. So if ever it stops copying the folders, I simply delete the half copied folder, start again. Sometimes I'll reboot the phone, and the important thing is you don't touch your phone when you're doing this. Is if you start doing things on the phone as well, you're probably disturbing the amount that it can deal with. So I've got it down to fine art, but you've got to leave it alone and that. So again, on this particular case right now, it's not seeing the external drive, so I'm just disconnecting it and reconnecting it back up. It's important that the power bank is actually powering the iPhone, which it is. I can just hear that blink in, and it also will be powering, hopefully, the external drive powered up. And there's the flashing light of the what's off. It's called Lacy. My drive is. So on there, I'll go onto that drive. I will create a new folder. In this case, it'll be day 33 Omaha. So create a new folder, day 33 Omaha, and then quite simply now I'll go back to my phone, on my phone drive, the phone itself. I'll go into where I've stored the phones, the pictures and the videos, and then I just select each one of these, so ST phone, and then I copy it to files. In this case I've got to go back, I've got to go find the Lacy, I've got to find day 33 Omaha, and then copy. I'm going to do that one at a time. I said if it errors out, going past, if it errors out, then I'll delete the folder the copied folder, and start again. At times I've found that I've had to reboot the phone and just go through it again. So I have got it down now, and it seems to work quite well.
Wind is cold, you must return to the wild.